stronger. And if you're stronger, you can produce higher power outputs. Typically, most sports, the successor, the one that wins, is the one that got the work done in the shortest amount of time. Power. Now, this is the example of, and this is not like the textbook or the playbook to specifics, but it's just an overview of how we do it. So, like I said, there's coupled successive, there's daily undulating, there's all different types of training theories or periodization models. So this is what I term seamless sequential integration. So this is a training theory that bridges, like I said, and I guess it's the next slide, but I'll go ahead and go with it. It bridges block periodization and vertical integration of Charlie Francis speed development. That's where it started. But then, because I'm a jack of all trades, it also looks into nutrition periodization. It looks into motor mapping. So it's a periodization protocol that is built on science, and it's no leaf unturned. How does the brain work? How do you create memories? How do you create knowledge, task development? What energies do you need in this time when you're doing this much work? How do you recover faster? So it's like all integrated. So again, it's pretty interesting stuff, and we're validating it every day at the training center, and tomorrow I'm actually going to show you some videos of some testing that we do. So seamless sequential integration. Seamless meaning it doesn't have an awkward transition, that it flows smoothly. Sequential, it goes in a logical order. It makes sense. Remember the domino effect. Integration, the action of the combining of training factors that were previously thought to be uncompliant. They're linked together. And I think that's a big problem, is because how many of you see that you have track practice, or you have basketball, swimming practice, then they go to physiotherapy, and then they go to nutrition, and then they go to strength conditioning, and all the coaches are like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what you're doing. What are you eating today? What are they doing to recover? And so no one talks. The training system has to be unified. Everything has to be embraced. It's not this training system for strength, this is for aerobic work, this is for food and recovery. It all has to be one thing. So that's the idea behind this. So, like I said, this is looking at traditional or block periodization and vertical integration as far as speed development. But I believe that this can be used in a multitude of arenas. Now, why do we have sequential development? You can also use the term segmental, which I think is on your slide or your handout. Why do we go short to long? Why, as weightlifting coaches, do we go part to whole? Why do we start with the basics before we go to competition? And that's because we have to build procedural memory. Procedural memory is the knowledge of how to do something. Now here's a food for thought. Procedural memory is developed when you're in REM sleep. So what does that mean? Your athletes need to be going to bed on time and sleeping without interruption. So REM sleep is deep sleep. That's actually where your heart rate, your brainwave activity mimics what is occurring right now. You're awake. So there's different levels of sleep. There's 5 stages. The first stage is you're actually, brain waves are slow, heart rate's down, you're not really dreaming. Maybe sometimes you're building your thoughts for skill. But then when you go into REM, eyes are moving, heart rate's up, brain waves up, and that's because you're putting together your memories from earlier in the day and making a mental map out of that. Pretty cool. So now you see why recovery is so important. So there's your homework. Look at the focus of napping. How does napping impact motor skill development? Pretty thoughtful. It's important. That's why kindergartners in this country shouldn't be the only ones that nap. Everybody should take a nap. We'd be so much better. So, when it comes to acquisition of skill, there's 3 phases. There's cognitive phase, and that is saying that's when someone decides, it's important, I better learn this. Or it's probably when a coach says, you probably need to learn how to shoot a basketball like this. You know, it's you understand that you're deficient at some skill, and you are going to practice making that skill better. And this is what some people call forebrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is like, it's cerebral, I'm having to think about it, I'm having to think about where the ball should be on my hand. Should it be up here? Should there be a space here? Or should there be actually the ball flush with my hand to follow through? You know, it's like you're having to think about it. You just don't, it's not a feel yet. It's like in baseball, you know, like where is the bat in relation to my shoulder? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? You know, it's like, it's just it's a feel versus a learning, like, oh, I got to make sure, am I in the right place, coach? Kind of thing. The next thing is associative phase. And that's where you actually practice movement patterns. Preferentially, you break them up into pieces so you can learn it better. And this is where your brain talks. So the portions of your brain actually communicate with each other, and you have like spatial awareness.
Habits.
Yeah, you're creating habits. Exactly right. So associative phase is the creation of habits. Autonomous phase, it's second nature. You just do it. Anybody play musical instruments in here? Okay, one. What do you play? Drums? Piano? Okay. I like your style. I can't match that, so I'm just going to... So, I try to play the guitar. You'd probably crush me. But there's one thing that you can't do. You can't pick up a guitar and play the entire song front. You can't. I can't. I have to actually learn like what I call, you know, so you can have chord progression, or I can't even think of the term. What's it for? Oh my gosh. No, it's this. It's the way we cheat. It's like you just know. Anyway. No, I'll think of it in a minute when it's way too late. It's how you cheat when you're a redneck playing guitar. But anyway, you have to learn how to play parts of a song, and then you learn how to play it a little bit faster, and then you try to put 2 parts of a song together, and then eventually you can play the whole song, and it's really slow and choppy, but eventually the more you play that song, the more it sounds like the real thing. You know what I'm saying? Sport is no different than music. But for some reason, sometimes we put a hurdle up in front of the athlete and say, go over it. Okay, coach, I'm over the hurdle now. Like, where does that happen outside of a cartoon? You know, so break it into pieces. And that's how we develop this procedural memory. Another example I like, I know that I'm very intimidating because I'm huge, and you would probably look at me and say, that's a weightlifting coach. But one of my things is weightlifting biomechanics. And so in this country, we have a hard time teaching it properly. And there's a thing called the double knee bend. So anybody in weightlifting, you raised your hand. So 2, familiar with the double knee bend. Scoop. Okay, so, you know, I know there's different philosophies, pushing the knees out, pushing the knees back. However, we know that when you get the knees out of the way, a lot of people in this country, because they do Olympic lifting to train for other sports, they hurry the bar, and they get the bar off the ground, and they just do a straight pull, where maybe 4% of us teach the knees go back, to be patient and don't rush, and actually push the knees through the bar to where you're in a better position to actually pull up and through. So, you know, you can't teach the double knee bend by doing the whole thing over and over. You actually have to maybe, and this is what we do in our training. Like my athletes, you know, they do pull the knee, hold, drop the weight, pull the knee, push the knees back, understand what it feels like to keep the bar close to the shin. And then we actually practice doing segments. So they're coming here, through. And then we do mid-thigh pulls from the blocks. Here. Then they do the clean pull. So it's just like probably what you're used to doing. So it's procedural memory development. Now, to fast forward to sprinting, long-going debate on short to long. I always say a good average of sprint training, maybe for a team sport athlete, is 300 meters a session. Now, if I want my athletes to get fast and learn proper biomechanics, which are going to make them faster for the future, and I have a range of 300 meters to work with, that's my max for the session. If I'm a long to short coach, I could go, I'm going to get endurance first. So I could do 1 rep of 300 meters and call it a day. They're probably not going to do that because coaches, you don't want to just walk out into the track and go, blow the whistle, go, all right, we're done, going to the office after 45 seconds. I mean, so you're probably going to do 2 reps of 150, 2 by 150 meters, or you could do 3 by 100. Well, you've had 1 to 3 opportunities to develop procedural memory, to improve the neural plasticity, to improve biomechanics. Now, I am a short to long guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I'll match you. My athletes are going to hit better positions early on. They're not going to be as in shape early on. But they're going to be able to hit better positions, and they're going to be able to produce higher forces early on, which will make them have higher velocities later on when it matters. So I may do 3 sets of 10 meters. So that's 30 opportunities to learn the proper biomechanics of an acceleration. Oh, I got you.